Nothing in it made me angry. There were plenty of bits that I liked, but overall, it was extremely short. Almost shockingly so. And it would have probably been a lot better if it was much longer. Yeah, because it's got to feel like the Reclamation of Gilneas, not kill 12 dudes, kill 12 dudes, kill 12 dudes, win.
Well, you got to kill 36 dudes. Oh my god.
So it's like there are points for effort, and certainly when we talk about the cinematics and stuff, really like terrific work. But certainly as a piece of like game content, I mean, put it this way. The patch notes said that the epilogue quest lines would be short. So I sort of read that and thought, oh, I see. They're kind of trying to tell us that actually the Reclamation of Gilneas is the longer thing. It's 15 minutes. It's really not that long. And you know, of that, some of it is very just procedural, you know, like, oh, we've got to go here and do that and do this and do the thing, and then you've won. And it's kind of like that's it. There's really no build up of the threat. There's sort of no struggle for victory. So certainly, like, it's bizarre because per the standards of World of Warcraft, it's like on the higher end of being on par. But it is so short, ludicrously so. It is ludicrously short. I think that's my main thing. I'd have been fine with essentially this story that they did, but if they just had longer. Even an example, you know, a lot of people are angry about the Blight stuff. I haven't played it on Horde. Now, we know that they can slurp up the Blight.
But I haven't done it on Horde, but I'm fairly sure that's like alluded to or mentioned in the sense of, because I remember I saw someone mention it. Don't take my word as gospel here, but I did see it like vaguely alluded to being like the Blight Eaters in the area and stuff. So it is like a temporary measure. We can use this and then clean it up so it's not a permanent problem. But yeah.
So it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. I mean, they really. It's just so short.
It's not even just short.
I want to find an insight behind this because I can't just sit here and just repeat to everybody, hey, everyone, it's so short, and just keep on saying that. But I feel like there's something more that I should say or some analysis that I should have because it's so short. But I don't have any. I'm just left with it's so short.
It took the Gilneans how many years to do something that only took minutes is the main side effect of the work and curse procrastination. I mean, yeah, so that's exactly the problem, right? Where this very felt like, and it actually leads a little bit into something that me and Jared talked about on, I'll do all my chilling later on, but we recorded a couple podcasts on the second war, Warcraft 2. And the feeling of Warcraft 2, I just see people talk about like no one understands war.
That's the thing. Writers,
yeah,
a lot of modern writers have no idea.
And no interest either.
And no interest. Yeah, it's like, could you read a fucking history book, please?
Yeah, so like you watch, you see Warcraft 2, and you see that the Brotherhood of the Horse were basically the key to most of the Alliance victories because they were armored cavalry units, and the entire Horde were orcs with axes. So you have some armored horses coming down the mountainside, tearing into the orcish forces, and that's how like they won the numbers advantage. The Warcraft 2 did show the orcs are these brutes that swing axes really good, and there's hundreds of thousands of them, but the humans have like military tactics and armor and weapons and planning and things like that. And that's like the thing of there was no actual, nothing happened in this. Nothing happened in the Reclamation of Gilneas that made it feel like a Reclamation of Gilneas.
No.
All you did was open a gate. And like they're kind of okay with their hyper simple things of like, well, okay, take out the key units. Take out the elite people and have Lillian help you stab them in the back. Which again, that's like exactly what happened in the Forsaken questline, and I thought that was cool then, and I think it's cool now.
Yep.
But why was that Lillian? Why is that not Tess? Why is Lillian the one doing this? Why is this accidentally Forsaken content?
Because they reuse that for both. Make one quest.
Yeah,
and solved.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part where it feels like this is if you were expecting anything, you're going to come out of this disappointed.
Certainly, if you're a fan of the Worgen and you want more, okay, I suppose maybe a way to think about this is like, enjoying enjoying the Draenei. Like, I get how people who, they've liked the humans and Stormwind and everything, and they felt that, I liked it, but they still felt that the human heritage was a little bit short.
Yeah.
And like, compared, wow, this is short. So if you do like the Worgen, yeah, like you're not going to feel at all satisfied by any of this. There's hardly any Worgen in it. That's like one thing.
Oh yeah.
I saw, like, I get where Darius Crowley is. He's there. You meet him afterwards, but I'm like, yeah, it's that thing. Experientially, I didn't mind it. I was certainly not excited about it, but I thought the cinematic stuff was, really good step up. But the actual gameplay, like content and the sort of experience, was really, really weak. Thinking of even say that, I don't know, the Death Knight starting zone.
It's the Kino by comparison every time. Incredible.
Absolutely thwacks this.
It completely destroys it in every capacity.
I guess
I actually think this is worse.
How little budget did they have for this?
This is the part where I get really annoyed, right? Because there's certain cases where I can tell that they want to do things, and that's about it. And they don't get any backing, they don't get the time, they don't get the additional staff. And it feels like there's a handful of people who, like, I don't know, maybe they're like extremely like effective workers, but they don't get an awful lot of time, or maybe like there's no point even saying, 'cause we don't know how things work internally. But there is, like, you just look at this and go, man, if this is what you're shipping with what's been allocated to you for something that you've talked about as an important event and as a kind of a paradigm shift in the kind of things you're trying to show your player base, then there's something about this isn't really working all that well. Now, maybe the vast majority of players are like, sure, that's content, that's fine, whatever. But it definitely feels like it was so much a waste of opportunity with a story beat that I almost wish they didn't do it. Almost wish. Because I know the reality of it is that if they didn't do this and they wanted to put more effort into it, then it would eat up half a patch from midnight or something, which would probably end up being a little bit too much time spent picking up pieces that they've left behind years ago. But it's so frustrating to me to see that there's a lot of effort and a lot of ground being pushed in parts of it, like all of the the cinematic stuff at the end with Tess. Excellent stuff. Fantastic. Genuinely, like, really well done. But as a bit of gameplay content, you're like, fuck me, like, what? There was a point, but I barely felt it. There was no sense of actual anything happening. It wasn't an event. It was go do a handful of simple quests. The callback to running up the tunnel with the torch and the rats was nice.
Yes, right.
Opening the gate, that little scene was nice, but none of these nice things that happen. This is the part that really bugs me. None of what is actually nice feels like it was earned because there's no context for it to feel good. It's like, okay, well, here's the bit where you open the gate, and you go, but like what? That felt like we didn't feel like, and some of this is down to how. There's the problem when you go into a quest when it's out and there's 40 billion people and they're all murdering mobs, so you're just trying to tag mobs instead of feeling like you're doing anything, especially when there's elites being hit by 88,000 people and you're like, oh well, that was a really intense fight where I was saying. And I think the part that bugs me is it never feels right. They don't have the capacity to go, well, here's, like, why was this not a solo scenario was my question. Why is this not a solo scenario? Just why? I'd love to know the actual reason why. Because
budget.
I mean likely, but that's the thing that annoys me, because this, if you had me actually fighting those elites and you scaled me to those elites, so I felt like they were elites and I felt like Lillian Voss was saving my ass, as opposed to me feeling like Lillian Voss was just to give me a little bit of extra DPS, because otherwise I'm pressing Feral Frenzy and Convoke and 8 mobs around me are exploding into pieces. It's like, I didn't feel like I earned like reclaiming Gilneas in any capacity or even helped. but the story told me I did. And that's there's almost God forgive me for bringing up the phrase, but ludonarrative dissonance, where you're like, well, we won Gilneas back. I'm like, I killed like 5 dudes and disarmed some explosives. Why do the Scarlets have explosives anyway?
And there's another strange
How did the Scarlets get here? What's happening? Why did no one mention the massive transformation at the end? What?
See, that's the bit where it's just all so goddamn sloppy and half-baked.
Yeah.
Now, what's there, I would say the execution of what's there is not sloppy. It's just the conception feels sloppy and half-baked. So it's the reclamation of Gilneas, not the scuffle in the chapel. And
the rumble in the jungle, the scuffle in the chapel. The grapple in the chapel. There we go.
Grapple in the chapel. A little bit more. And it really should have felt like you needed the Forsaken. Because you see, playing this as Alliance, what were they doing? Where were they?
They were there at the start, and then there was
Lillian was there.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know. They don't ever bother to actually bring up a situation where you need people to do something, because you're never pushed back. You're never stopped. It's just walk in, take it.
Yeah, there's no narrative. What if you wanted to do this in a way that, I guess just a way that would be more proper, where, I don't want to sit here trying to explain the basics to people who I know will know they'll know the basics. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the frustrating part, is because none of what feedback I ever give is some sort of brilliant genius delivered on high. It's literally here's the basics that you pick up from watching or playing anything ever.
Yeah,
but for some reason it doesn't go into the game.
This is the impact of basic media literacy.